demonstrating the Minnesota Rate of Manipulation test. This test assesses both gross and fine motor skills along with hand-eye coordination and finger-eye coordination and dexterity. There's two subsets for this test, the placing test and the turning test. We're going to demonstrate both of those. First, we're going to start with the placing test. So Kristen's going to be demonstrating the test for us. So first I'm going to show you how to perform the test, show you the pattern that the blocks are going to be going into the pegs, and then you'll take it from there, and I'll be measuring your rate at which you perform the task with a stopwatch, and we will record it in seconds on the score sheet. So first, I'll just show you, we're going to go from these bottom to top, following that pattern. And once you get back to the second row, you go back to that bottom to top pattern all the way from right to left. We're going to start with your dominant hand. You said that you were right-handed dominant to begin, so that's how we're going to carry out this assessment. All right, on my command, you're going to put your finger on the first block, and once you move the block, I will start the timer. All right, you ready? 3, 2, 1, go. As fast as you can. All right, and Kristen completed that in 64 seconds, and we'll document that on our score sheet. Now that we've completed a first trial, we're gonna have Kristen perform a second trial. On my mark, we're gonna do that same test one more time. 3, 2, 1, go. As fast as you can. So Kristen's score on her second trial was 56 seconds, so we'll add that to the score of her previous trial of 64 seconds. So I'm going to show you kind of how to document these trials. So Kristen's first trial run was 64 seconds, so you put down to trial 1. Her second was 56 seconds, so that's trial 2. We're going to combine these two scores in order to get an accumulated number. So 64 and 56, her total seconds would be 120 seconds. And rather than taking an average, we're accumulating the amount of seconds total within the amount of trials. The scoring sheet that comes with the test kit has 4 potential trials that you can document. Although as occupational therapists, it's important that we use our time as efficiently as possible, and therefore 4 trials may not be realistic within our time constraints. Getting at the very least 2 time trials is important to increase the validity of the test. So that was the placing test. Now we're going to move into the turning test. The turning test is a little bit different. It's important that you explain this properly because it's a little bit more cognitively challenging as well. So for this one, we're going to be starting at the top right peg or block in comparison to where the patient is sitting or standing. So we're going to be starting at the top right. And with the turning test, you want to start with the leading hand, which would mean you're going from your right to your left. So your leading hand is your left hand. You're going to start with your left hand, and once you pick up that top right peg, you're going to flip it and place it down with your trailing hand, your right hand. And so you're going to continue that movement all the way down until you get to the end of that row, and you're going to drop down, and now you're using your right hand, which is your leading hand, because you're going from your left to your right. So now you'll be picking up with your right hand, flipping it, and setting it back down with the left, and so on, until you get down to the end of this row, dropping down, using your leading hand, which is your left hand, because you're going right to left again. So you'll be picking up with your left hand, placing it down, and so on. And you're completing a snaking motion all the way down So you get to the final peg, and that's where the timer stops, and it's recorded in seconds. So on my command, we're gonna start, and 3, 2, 1, begin. As fast as you can. And her time is 57 seconds. We'll document that on the scoring sheet. In order to provide stronger validity within our test, we're gonna have Kristen perform the test one more time, and we'll record that in seconds along with her previous score. So on my mark, we're gonna perform that one more time, starting with your leading arm, which is your left. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, go. As fast as you can. There you go. All right, and her time is 52 seconds. We will compare. So I'm back to the scoring sheet. I just wanted to show, so Kristen's first test run was 57 seconds for the turning test. Her second was 52 seconds. So you add that total 109 seconds. Once you've accumulated both of the scores for either the turning or the placing test, you can then use that accumulated score, the sum of both trials or more trials than 2, and you can then utilize the manual that comes with the test kit, and you can compare that number that you got to some of the normative values that they have at the back of the manual. And also there's a 50 percentile chart that they provide on the testing sheet itself that you document the score on. So that's the Minnesota rate of manipulation test. Thank you for watching, and I hope this was informative.